What's the first thing that I need to understand if I'm going to recharge? The first thing comes from the movie The Lion King. I don't know if anyone is familiar with The Lion King, but the first one is this: you want to be the Lion King. Now, some of you ask yourself the question, well, why are you talking about the Lion King? What is it about the Lion King that is so special? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's a moment in the Lion King where Simba is getting ready to emerge as the king. But before he emerges as the king, he goes through this moment where I like to say he's punking out. He has low self-esteem. He's not sure of himself. He's not sure if he's good enough. I mean, all this discouragement, all this negativity is coming upon this young king that's about to emerge and make an impact. In the midst of this journey, in the midst of this moment, he gets led out to this lake. And when he gets led out to this lake, his father appears and says, Simba! And he sees his father. He sees this role model. He sees this leader. He sees this person that has set him up to thrive and to succeed. And him and his father begin to have this conversation. In the middle of the conversation, his father says something really powerful. For those who saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He says, Simba, remember who you are. In essence, in the middle of the conversation, he says, Simba, remember who you are. And when he hears these words, remember who you are, there's a shift that takes place in Simba's life. There's a shift because a lot of times we get low, we get discouraged because we forget who we are. And what I want to share with you today is if you're going to thrive, if you're going to succeed, if you're going to recharge, you got to remember who you are. What do you mean, Dr. J? Number one, remember your accomplishments. Remember your wins. Remember the things you did well. Remember when you graduated. Remember when you didn't give up. Remember when you didn't throw in the towel. That's strength. Number two, remember your experiences. You know, when you had to make top ramen taste like steak like me. You know those moments when you didn't know how you were going to make it through, but somehow you made it through. You know those moments where you took that step of faith. It's scared, it's uncertain, but you moved and stuff happened. These are the experiences. These are the accomplishments that are in our lives to strengthen us. Remember your seeds of greatness, that gift, that passion, that smile, that look, that ability to counsel, that ability to build relationships. Remember the seeds of greatness, because we all have seeds of greatness. We all have experiences. We all have accomplishments that are built within us to help us recharge and overcome the challenging situations. But here's the last one. For my young scholars of color, remember the cultural assets that you possess. We forget that we come from a heritage of strength, of perseverance, of power, of overcoming challenges and obstacles, and doing whatever we can to push forward no matter how much resistance comes against us. This is part of our heritage. This is the same DNA. This is the blood that lies in you right now. It's your cultural asset. And what I've discovered is when I embrace my cultural asset and I lean on the words of those that come from my culture, there is a strength that comes to me. In essence, when I think about Dr. King, not only do I see someone that I look up to that resembles me, that I can see myself in, but I remember his words where he said the ultimate measure of a man or woman is not based on their time of comfort or convenience, but rather how they deal with challenge and controversy. He reminds me that when things get tough, I get stronger. He reminds me when everyone's throwing the towel, I'm looking up because I know something good's about to happen. He reminds me, you can hit me, you can talk about me, you can try to kill me, but you can't stop the dream that lives inside of me. There's strength in Dr. King. And then I'm reminded of Maya Angelou. And I'm reminded of Maya Angelou because she reminds me of my mother, and she reminds me of my grandmother, and she reminds me of my great-grandmother. I can literally see the DNA in her and my family lineage. And she reminds me, if you're always trying to be normal, you will never be amazing. And it reminds me, be authentic, be audacious, be authentic of who you are. But because when you step in the room, you step in the room as a king or a queen. You step in the room as someone that is destined to change the world. She reminds me to be true to who I am. And then I think about Shirley Chisholm. And when I look at Shirley Chisholm, I see that professor when I was in college. I see that incredible my sister. I see Tish Norman, and I see all the wonderful queens here today. And I think about Shirley Chisholm, where she says service is the rent that you pay for your room on earth. And this empowers me because it reminds me that I have a purpose and I have a reason to live. So I don't never think about doing anything that's detrimental to my life, because I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. And until I go away 100 years down the line, I'm going to continue to serve, and I'm going to continue to make an impact, because purpose lies in me. And then I think about Frederick Douglass, and I look at Frederick Douglass, and I love this quote because it's so true, because he said, without struggle, there is no progress. What is he saying? He's saying, as men and women of color, there's going to be struggle. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be obstacles, but it's a part of the journey, because without the struggle, you'll never become the king or the queen you're supposed to be. Oh, hashtag that, J.O. And without the struggle, you'll never be the king or queen you're supposed to be. And so I remember these words, and it gets tough. I understand that it's part of the process to becoming who I'm supposed to become. You say, Dr. J, what are you saying? Ultimately, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying that if you're going to recharge, if you're going to thrive, if you're going to succeed, you got to remember who you are. You got to remember your accomplishments. You got to remember your experiences. You got to remember your seeds of greatness, but more importantly, you got to remember your cultural assets, your cultural heritage. And you want to research and read and learn and regurgitate that knowledge and that wisdom, because it was left for you to take your heritage to the next level, to take your legacy to the next level, to make an impact in your community, your nation, or your world. Number one, we got to remember who we are. I feel so good. I don't